Google has killed more projects than most companies have attempted. The website Killed by Google lists all of them. Currently the list sits at 274 projects. It's absolutely no secret that they have a habit of shutting down their projects seemingly completely on a whim. Whether they are currently widely used, successful, or even profitable doesn't matter. Earlier this year, Google closed down the extremely popular and widely used AngularJS, a web development framework that is currently being used by an estimated 3.3 million websites, 9 months after the project was shuttered. This is all especially interesting when you take into account the fact that Google undertakes so many projects. Google management actively encourages their employees to spend 20% of their work time on projects outside of their current assignments, working on anything that the employee believes will most benefit Google. This is called the 20% rule, or more formally, a slightly modified version of the Pareto principle, and has since been seen successfully implemented at many tech-based companies, including the Australian business management legends Atlassian. This rule led to some of the most important Google products, such as Gmail, and arguably the most important and profitable project in Google history, AdSense. So this all begs the question then, why, after all this encouragement, does Google so hastily close down different projects? This is where I say reason 3 will blow your mind, but seriously, it's really interesting. The first reason might not actually have anything to do with upper management at all, but rather the project lead. There have long been rumors that the best way to move up in the ranks of Google, or even the tech ecosystem in general, is to lead an internal project for Google. And I need to emphasize, you just need to have led a project to completion and release. The project doesn't need to have been successful or profitable, just complete. This causes an issue where the creators and leaders of a project aren't particularly bothered with the success, and may leave as soon as possible for another higher paying or more important position, causing the project to falter post-launch and close down soon after. The second reason is the most obvious, and I personally hope the most common. Simply put, the project was unprofitable. This would be especially apparent with the projects closed post-2020, most notably and recently, Google Stadia. The publicly stated reason from the Stadia VP, Phil Harrison, was, while Stadia's approach to streaming games for consumers was built on a strong technology foundation, it hasn't gained the traction with users that we expected. In other words, we didn't make any money. Also, this statement works its way into the third reason, as well as indicating that Google is not done with cloud gaming as a whole. But this shutdown didn't happen in a vacuum. It came at a time when all tech companies are making cost cuts to weather the coming economic downturn. All signs pointed to Google wanting to keep Stadia open as a loss leader for the long term, including the hundreds of millions of dollars they invested over its lifespan. But facing a downturn, they clearly changed their minds. The final reason is definitely the most interesting, because on the surface, it seems incredibly counterintuitive. Google likes to end projects at the drop of a hat because they're incredibly innovative. Yep, I can hear you say it. Shutting down projects is the opposite of innovation. Let's take a look at an example though. Google Tez was a payment processing system created in 2017, and I can guarantee that you most likely have never heard of it. That's because Google Tez was specifically targeted at the huge and exponentially growing Indian market. Tez was incredibly popular too. It had around 8.5 million users and 30 million transactions performed only a month after release. Despite this popularity, it was closed down in 2018, almost a year to the day after its release. And this closure can be directly attributed to innovation, because Tez was immediately absorbed into the globally targeted Google Pay app, a much more enticing use of funds for Google, as it has approximately 7 times the potential user base. Another great example of this reason is the plethora of Google Chat apps. Since 2010, there have been 4 separate apps released by Google in an attempt to capture the huge messaging market. In no particular order, these are Google Chat, Allo, Hangouts, and the newest attempt, Google Messages. As of November this year, all except Messages will have been shut down, with Google pushing everything that they've learned over the past decade into their one, hopefully final, chat-based app. Even some of the features from Google Duo, their video chat-based app, has been moved to Messages. So don't get too comfortable on your Duo calls. It looks like you'll have to move soon enough. So, what is your opinion on Google's flagrant disregard for any project that doesn't immediately present a revenue base or purpose in other projects? Do you think it's a good idea or wasteful, and they've already destroyed the best app they've ever made? Tell me in the comments below. And for more technology videos, subscribe to Technology Torrent.